Okay, cool. So we're starting the hot seat with Millen, all the way from France. I'm at 8 a.m. She's at 4 p.m. So we're compatible at this moment. I'm not sure who else is going to join us live. If you're live, type your name so we know that you're so we know that you're here. I can't see. Oh yay! Hello, Robin. Glad to see you here. Awesome. You're up even earlier. She's in California. Okay, great. Glad to see you here. And anyone else who joins, well, you'll have to type it in after. Okay, so I'm going to give Millen's. So we're going to focus on ideal client, which my first place that I look is in the brand essence. And so I'm going to talk about, so this is going to be relevant for every single person. So what I'm sharing with Millen, know that, like, look at how it applies to you and your ideal clients. If you're someone like me, who you have a really good idea of who your ideal clients are, you're going to still get so much out of the subtleties, like the little subtle differences between your ideal versus non-ideal. And also, and if you're newer, it's good to just kind of explore this as one of the ways to get clear on your ideal client. As you likely have received as a bonus, getting clear on your ideal client, there's 6 ways to get clear. So this is one of them. Okay, so with that, I'm going to share Millen's here. Let me actually type it in so that everyone can see it. Okay, we've got Sun, Capricorn, Rising. You and I, Millen, we've got a lot of similarities. I know. I'm Capricorn, Leo rising, just like you, but then here's where it gets different. Moon in, so I'm writing it down, Sun in Capricorn, rising Leo, Moon in Leo, so we've got that. Mercury in Sagittarius, I'm just going to put Sag. Mars in Sagittarius, this is where you and I differ. Midheaven, Aries. Okay, boom. So let's look at this. So first of all, when I look at someone's brand essence, I sort of just take it all in. And what I'm taking in right now is like all of the signs in your brand essence are kind of like leaders or high achievers. Like Capricorn is ambitious, whether it's just a professional woman or man or whatever in a corporate, or it's a business owner it's someone who's ambitious. People who are Capricorns, as you likely know, because you are them, you are one, we can't help but to like think about like work and career is a big focus for us. You can't have I don't believe you can have a happy Capricorn without having career involved. My cousin, who I hadn't seen for like 10 years or something, we got together and we just had a blast, and she's a Capricorn. We went to Ireland together, and we were like so on the same wavelength, and it was so weird to see another one like me, you know, where it's like this ambition is such a big piece, and even if it's not like hardcore, like achieving the highest profit or whatever, it's like there's this drive and there's this like, I gotta get to the top. And I imagine you relate to that. Yeah.
Yes, to some degree. I'm not sure about getting to the top, but having meaning in life, having exciting projects, succeeding in these projects, yes.
Exactly. So kind of like what I've found and observed over the years with Capricorn is just like the symbol, like they're a goat, a mountain goat. So here's the mountain, here's the goat, and the goat can't help but to climb. Like, so it likes to have challenges to get through and make its way to the top. And whatever the top is, it's just like conquering, like, hey, I want to achieve success in what I'm doing. I want to learn how to have people sign up for my program. Like whatever that mountain is, it's a mountain. And some of the inspiring pieces you talked about, that's the Sagittarius. So this is and I saw this is so fun because I saw a couple days ago, I saw a video, and it was just funny videos of goats, like baby goats. So of course they have the like goat yoga, which is freaking hilarious. The goats, they're doing like these poses and the goats are jumping on them. But then I saw so many other ones where there was one where the lady's like, this is a goat massage, and she leans forward and the goats are all jumping on her back. And one thing I noticed about the goats is that if there's any type of anything that has height around them, they jump on it. So this is like how we're made, right? So why this matters is your brand essence is basically a beacon of light, calling your ideal clients to you. And this is your beacon. Your beacon is about achieving something. It is about, like, as mine is. Like, you guys are here around me because of that in me. That's part of why you're drawn to what I'm up to. Is I'm not just like, okay, you're gonna have a happy business. No, you're gonna tap into all the magic that you have and that you are, and have an awesome time so that you can achieve the greatest success. You know, like that's the whole point of it. So with anyone who's watching, your brand essence is like that beacon of light. So your business is like a lighthouse. Your brand essence is the beacon that's put out to the world, basically, that says, hey, do you need some of this? Like, do you need some help, like overcoming obstacles and challenges to like achieve something in your life? Come here, kind of thing. And whatever signs you have more, obviously. But that's where our brand essence is. So we're likely going to attract people who are somewhat similar to us. We're likely going to attract people who are similar to us to some degree. So that could be for you that they're corporate women, they're professional women, they're entrepreneurs, right? Like that's like an easy, obvious one. And that's a really solid place to focus for you, because that's you. Were you in corporate before, or were you always an entrepreneur?
Yes.
Yeah.
No, I was for years on Wall Street, for years.
Yeah, totally. So you were in that world. So anyone from that world, anyone from the entrepreneur world is really good for you. And it's obvious in the Capricorn. And Capricorn is a little unique because it really is about career. It is about success. It can't help it. You know, we care about other things too, but you can't take that away. So that's likely the case for your people. Now, the other thing about this is you likely attract people who are somewhat similar, but you also attract people who are weaker in the areas that you have. And so here's where you want to look at all of your brand essence to see what might they be drawn to, and what might I be helping them do? What qualities and essence, like subtle essence in me, are they desiring in their own lives? And like, you represent a possibility, and your brand essence sort of highlights what that possibility is. We can look as well for clues in your gifts, but it's kind of secondary. So we'll look at that in a moment. So next up we see Leo. So Leo likes to be the best. Leo likes to be number one, whether it admits it or not. It's just there. And this can show up not just in business, but like in like your love life, anywhere. It's like likes to be best. It likes to be the center of attention, and it has something to say, and it's in the center. So now you combine this Capricorn, which is fairly high achieving, with Capricorn, which is ambitious and just career oriented, with Leo. Now you have like you're starting to get more high achiever energy, right? That makes sense?
Yes.
And I imagine you created a lot of success in your business,
yes,
or throughout your life. And yeah.
Yes.
Also you have an 8, so that adds to it. Okay. So then that starts to paint a picture of someone. Now we add the Mercury and the Mars, which is Sagittarius. And this is where you were speaking a moment ago. I could totally feel your inspiration about the Sagittarius. You're like, I don't remember what you said, but something like inspiring. Like an inspiring Sagittarius that's the part of you that likes to live in two places. That's the part of you that likes to travel and be on the go, and like, what's going to happen? It's really adventurous. And it doesn't like to be boxed in. It doesn't like to be tied down. It's very free-spirited. Make sense?
Yes.
So how I'd like to see it is your brand essence is basically, it represents who your ideal clients want to become. And they're drawn to you because you are this. You're like, hi, I'm Millen. I've created a lot of success in my life. I am the best at this, which is probably has to do with money and all that, like your area of expertise. I'm the best at this. I know my stuff. I'm a leader. And also, I'm on the go. I'm traveling with my husband. I live in France, and then I live in where again? Somewhere in the U.S. I can't remember.
Florida, South Florida.
South Florida. So I live
Palm
in
Beach.
South Florida. Okay, cool. I live in Palm Beach, you said? I live in Palm Beach. I live in France. Like that already to the Sagittarian and people is like, I want to be free. I want to travel. Right? So your brand essence shows you what your people want because you represent that possibility. Does that make sense, Millen?
Yes.
Okay, cool. Yes. And I'm going to check in the chat in a moment. So Robin or whoever else is here, let me know if that makes sense. Let me know if that, oh yeah, we've got a few here. So please type your name if you're here. And so I see that Robin is here, but please type who else is here. And also, I'd just love to hear if this is making sense, this brand essence. I appreciate this, Millen, because I feel like words are coming through even more clearly than I described it before, and that's partly because you're here. This is the magic of 3. Okay. So, your people want what you have and who you are. And this is the foundation of natural design, is that you can just be who you are and create success. You can be who you are, and that is the most important thing. Of course, you still have to build ways for people to find you and all that. We talk more about that in Scale Naturally. So yes, you need to build the ways. However, the essence is they're drawn to who you are. So if you were to, like with this Leo, sometimes Leo is like not shy, but it's kind of like, oh, I can't stand out too much, or, I got all the shininess and, oh, I better people might not like it, or, it might take away from them. That's not what you're here. You're here to be shiny.
Can I just comment on this? I always consider myself introvert. I recharge when I'm alone. I don't recharge in a big group of people.
For sure.
And I'm also in a social setting, I'm kind of reserved. Mm-hmm. I don't always initiate conversations. I'm not a social butterfly for sure. Yeah. So I found that I have 2 Leos in or 3 fire signs overall. Yeah. I was like, this is crazy. It doesn't seem like me. Yeah. Because I'm not like a social butterfly. I don't like to show off. It's just not what comes naturally to me.
For sure. Totally. And I remember kind of because I've been studying all this for so long, and I remember seeing Leos that were loud. I have an aunt. I guess she's not actually an aunt, but I grew up with her, so she was like Auntie Myrna. Auntie Myrna is around, if there's a giant, big, get together, exactly where she is, because you can hear her laughing from the far end of the room. So that's the extroverted, center of attention, loud one. And then there's her husband, who's named Dave. Dave is also a Leo. Dave is totally quiet, So there's the quiet and the loud. However, they have this common qualities of like Capricorn and Leo. I imagine you like premium stuff. If there's, oh, but you can get this one for so much cheaper. It's no, it's all I know for myself, when I wanted to get a blender, I was like, I'm getting a Vitamix. I'm not considering any other option.
I like good quality. That's for sure in everything.
Exactly. Good quality. So that's another example of how it shows up. So we like the best, which also we like to be the best. We don't want to be half-assed at anything. We don't want to just be kind of good. We want to be yeah, I know what I'm doing. This is my area of expertise. I've got this. I know I can help people. That kind of thing. So that's a quiet.
And another thing, and just correct me if I'm wrong. I think partially it also is reflected in my desire to offer the best, not only consume the best, but offer the best. And the backside of this is I want my programs to be perfect. I want my videos to be perfect.
Yeah.
And that's kind of a, gray side of wanting the best and wanting to give the best as well.
Yes, exactly. That's the piece you got to watch and not let it stop you. Because I'm telling you, Okay, here's a scale of like total crap, like the worst of the worst. So I gotta make sure my hand is in the screen. This is like the worst. Like this is total crap. Like you buy it and it falls apart. You know, it's awful. That's like the worst. And then there's like functional, right? And then there's like really awesome, good. Okay, so like you don't have to worry about being down here because you can't help it. So here you are in this range here. This range is freaking awesome. But you're trying to get to the very top, right? And is that necessary? You know, like you can do that by like starting, getting it out there, having it be better. So so just know you're in that zone. You're not in these zones because it's who you are. And you can always improve within this zone and you're not going to stop because that's who you are. But don't let it stop you from getting it out there. Like you are going to learn from doing. You have to learn from doing. Like even this. Some of the stuff I'm saying about ideal clients, I've never said before. And it's a way better, like some of the pieces, there's like one line that I said that I'm like, man, I wish that was in the video. But should I have not done the video like a year ago or something? No, or 2 years ago, I don't even know when. So that's the idea. But for sure, that's the shadow side.
Helen, I have a question. Do you mind if I ask you now or you want to continue? Because I don't want to interrupt your flow.
Yes, here, let's pause for a moment. I just want to pause for a moment. Okay, awesome. Hello, Izumi. What time is it in Japan? Is it really late? Anyway, hello, Izumi. Please tell me what time it is. I'm so curious. Hello, Liz. Yay, Liz is here. Awesome, you guys. Okay, so I would love, as you're watching, as you're listening, we've got about 10 minutes left. Share your insights on what you're realizing about your ideal clients as you listen. Okay, so yes, back to your question. Go ahead, Millen.
So at the beginning you said because of who I am and because of my background, my ideal clients are professional women, corporate women, entrepreneurial women, career women. When I was working with a coach, she said, you cannot have as your target or as your ideal clients, both professional women and entrepreneurial, because these are very, very different targets, very niches. And she said, you have to choose entrepreneurial or professional. And I kind of got stuck on that because I used to be a professional woman. I used to be a career woman, right? Well, corporate person. And for many years, and then I left, and then I became an entrepreneur. So I kind of have both qualities. I mean, I was trained very well. I have a particular ethics because I worked in the corporate environment, but at the same time, I am on my own for many years now. So how do you reconcile this? Because I agree that entrepreneurial women often have very different desires and qualities and characteristics than corporate women.
Right, and they have different money issues.
Yes.
Like totally different because they don't just have the paycheck. I mean, ideally they do, but most don't, or like a lot don't, or they don't treat their finances properly, and So it's a totally different world talking to me versus talking to me when I was an engineer.
Yeah,
for sure. Yeah, so your business can serve both. Like let's say if you have a program, it could serve both. Like maybe or maybe not, or maybe you focus on entrepreneurial and corporate is a separate thing. I'm not sure. This is where, to me, like the 6 ways to get clear on your ideal client. I think I shared one of them was like life guiding you, kind of like what is life doing, what's showing up. So when you can decide, let's say you decide entrepreneurial women and you just go full on into that realm, and then all these corporate women start showing up. Well, now you know life is kind of showing you, hey, don't negate these, like don't neglect these people. Maybe this is your person as well, or maybe this is your person. Same with the other way. You focus on corporate and then the entrepreneur people are still showing up. So how I would, it's still, excuse me, because you've got this Leo and it really is like the high quality piece, the Leo Capricorn combo, and also the Sagittarius. Sagittarius, in the highest expression, Sagittarius is a visionary. So often visionaries are not in jobs. And if they are, they're like CEOs or like in high, like executive positions, which in those positions, often they have profit share and stuff like that, right? So, so they are more like entrepreneurs where they get out some of what they put in. Excuse me. So yeah, if I had to put money on something and guess, like just to guess, business could be a really good fit. But at the same time, if your heart is in the corporate and the professional, then that tells me more than anything I could say.
My heart is in both because I'm both.
Yes.
Yeah, so I have both. I had different experiences in life, and I'm appreciative of all of these experiences. So that's why I understand that I have to be very, very narrow niched, but I kind of like, because I can speak their language. Yeah. Because I was corporate and I'm now entrepreneur. So. Okay,
when you were in corporate, were you high achieving?
Yes.
Yeah. So that to me is the distinguisher for you. Then I don't know. They talked about that at Monetize, like high achieving women, because I don't know that your women are different if they're in corporate versus business, because they might be these high achieving women who have money to work with. You know what I mean? Like, for example, are you going to work with a newbie business owner?
Probably not.
Right. So, because you don't probably have patience for that. It's like, how
I probably will offer some, maybe my books, so I will offer some freebies, but in terms of my group programs, well, I have some lower level programs, but not like my academy program.
Yeah.
Lasting Wealth Academy, definitely not for newbies. Yeah.
Right, exactly. And don't just think about the amount of money they have, but think about the kind of person they are.
Yeah, so, that's what I mean. Yeah.
Yeah, the kind of person who's new in business is focused on getting their business to function. Yeah. So like, to think about what you're talking about is not the most important priority, right? At that point in time. So I think that it might be that you have two groups, but the commonality is that they're high achieving. And maybe it's high achieving.
Also ambitious, because what I'm teaching is that you are the source of your wealth. You are the source of your success. And, for people who used to be supported by someone, for women who used to be told what to do and when to do it and how to do it, it could be very overwhelming. So that's why I feel that high achieving, ambitious, resilient, resourceful, right? So that's kind of women that.
Yeah, those are the subtle qualities for sure. So I think we've landed on it. Whatever words you use, to me, it's these ambitious women. It's the high achieving women, like whatever title, because you're going to find those, like I for sure 100% would put my hand up for that. That is me. That's me. That's my cousin, right? She was in a job, but she was making like freaking so much money because she was at a high position, right? And like, they need to know how to manage it and how to handle it and how to have actual wealth, not just an income that goes out the window, right? So I like that. This feels like you. And it also cuts, because if you were just to be like for women entrepreneurs, then you'd have like a newbie show up and yeah, you give them a book, but you want the people who are showing up to be your right people, right? Like that's the idea. So, because then, and Robin mentioned like having two slightly different programs. Well, and you could, but it doesn't feel right. And this is why. It's because it doesn't really matter if they're high achieving women. It doesn't matter if it's through corporate or through business, right? Because you're working with people who have resources.
I feel that the character is more important for me than even how much money they have right now. And that's the kind of ironic, because what I teach is, among other things, among managing money and investing, I teach mindset. And I think that when you have the character, even if you don't have money yet, when I started, I didn't have money, and I started investing, I found a way. So when you are resourceful, when you feel that you're resourceful, when you feel that you have resilience, that you're gonna get it anyway, then you are my woman, right? You're my person.
Yes, I love it. Oh, this is so good. Okay, I'm so glad that you brought up this topic and we're at this place because this is so helpful for everyone. Okay, this is big. But yeah, do you have a...
Yeah, I'm curious about the areas because my number 6 is areas in brand essence.
Here, hold on, pause for a sec because I don't want to lose my thought here. Okay, so can you write that down or pause so you don't forget that?
Yeah.
So I can keep going with this. Is that okay?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Okay. Because I don't want to lose this. This is super.
Yeah, no problem.
Okay. So here's the shift that happens. So I hear you talking like, so we've got ambitious, maybe high achieving. If that works for you, to me, it works for your people because I'm one of them. Resourceful, resilience. So here's some examples of qualities of your ideal client. So what I encourage you to do from now on is to assume everyone in your audience is this person. And in all of your marketing, speak to this person. Like you're someone who's resourceful. You're someone who is ambitious. Like you can just assume, kind of like for me, I work with coaches and healers. So let's just focus on the healers for a moment. Let's say I had a room full of healers. For sure, there might be healers in there who are like never going to take action. They're just going to do everything for free and they're going to think money is bad and whatever. For sure, there might be people in that audience, but I'm not talking to them. I'm talking only to my people who want to really play full out with their business. And I talk like that because I've got Capricorn and Leo as well. So I don't even think about those other people. And the beauty of that is they will go running from me because they're like, I don't know, this is too scary, you know? Or if in your case, they might just be like, oh man, I'm too lazy for that. Or, you know, like this feels like too much or something. So this is what shifts the entire energy of your marketing and your business is to know this is who you're talking to. So you have a label, maybe you call them ambitious women or high achieving women, one of those two. And that's it. And now you just speak to them, right? You talk about the challenges that they face. You talk about like, what are the challenges for ambitious women around money? Like what's one example that you work with?
Well, being afraid that they don't have enough skills to invest successfully, because they want to grow money, but they don't have enough skills yet to be successful at investing, not knowing different venues to invest, different options that are available, and not knowing what would be the best for them, because like with everything, they have a natural inclination toward one investment versus another. So, you know, some people would love to invest in stock market, other women would not. For me, it's like going shopping. I love stock market investing. But for other women, maybe it would be like I spoke with one and she said, well, I'm not good at math. I said, well, you don't really need much of a math to be a good investor. And by the way, a lot of women are very good investors because we naturally have faculties that we careful with risk and stuff like that. So yeah, so being afraid to lose money because they don't have enough experience investing.
Okay, cool. So this is awesome. So now imagine every time you talk about they're afraid that they don't have enough skills and they don't have enough knowledge in how to invest. And I 100% am this person. I'm like, I don't freaking know. No. And so then, and also because I'm like your ideal type person, when you speak to me, you can speak as in all your people, like me, symbolic of your ideal client. You can speak to you like to really you like to know what you're doing. You like to feel confident in what you're doing. And so for most ambitious women, they avoid investing because there's so much freaking information out there. None of it makes sense. None of it lands. And it feels like this big thing that you'll never be able to learn. And you want, if you're going to be investing your money, you want to have confidence because this is the kind of person they are. See what I mean?
Yes.
And you don't like to not know what you're doing. So that's me. Like, I don't want to, and they don't like to waste. So Capricorn does not like to waste.
That's true.
So we don't like to waste. So you don't want to take a risk and like you watch what happened in 2008 and you're like, I don't want that to happen. And how do I know that's not going to happen? And then I look at what's happening with someone I know's investments and I'm like, well, how do you prevent that? Like, you don't want to not know. So now that you're talking specifically to these ambitious, high achieving women, can you see how the conversation is really direct? And you don't have to talk to anyone else. Nobody else. You're the person for these women, and it is freaking needed. This is like a massive women's empowerment piece that you're doing.
Yeah.
Like, you can't be an empowered woman fully without being empowered around money. It's just the truth. This is huge. This is powerful. So for everyone who's here, and I'll check in a second here, this is the power of your brand essence. So again, for me, if I'm talking to people who do transformational work, I don't have to talk to the people who aren't ambitious. I can speak to the ambitious part of them. I can call it out of them because that's why they're coming to me. They're not coming to me to sit on their butt and like give away sessions for free all the time. That's not gonna happen. They might do that, but they want more than that. And I can just speak as though this is where you're going. You're creating a successful business, and I can speak from that energy, just like you. Even if they're not there, you're like, this is where you're going, because you know who they are. You don't have to speak to the other people. And it's the same. Leslie Thompson, who's in Own It, she has she's a love coach, but she has Capricorn in her Venus, which is love. So of course she attracts women who are ambitious and who are career focused. So she can speak to them about having their love life enhance their career. And that's like what she said to me that freaking like totally blew my mind, and I was impacted forever. Okay, cool. Okay, so I would love to hear. So for everyone who's watching, before we go, we'll maybe take another 5 minutes. Before we go, what is one aspect of your brand essence that gives you a clue about your ideal clients? Either it's one sign or, oh, it's 11 p.m. Oh yeah, awesome. I'm glad you can make it, Izumi. Maybe she's sleeping now. There's one less. So whoever's here still, I would love to hear what's one insight that you're getting into your ideal clients. And let's continue. You had that question. Did you write down or you remember it?
Right, I have it. So my number in my brand essence, my number 6 is Aries.
Yes.
So what does it mean? Because I was puzzled by having 2 Leos and then 2 Sagittarius and then Aries number 6. So can you just explain what kind of, because I noticed that you and I we have a lot of similarities, mm-hmm. and I feel it. Not only I'm noticing logically, I feel it as well. Yep. But I also know that we are different, and I think there's 2 Sagittarius and Aries at the end. It's like, what is that? Can you comment a little bit?
Totally. I'm gonna highlight something here. So, in my compare you and I, the biggest difference is I have 1 Leo, and then the rest is just Capricorn and Virgo. So that's the difference. So I am like 100% Earth with the bit of fire there. So for me, I'm very earthy. But for you, you've got a 4 and an 8. So 4 is totally earthy, very practical, and 8 is very success-oriented, very serious. So even though you have all this fire, you have those elements. So it's different than mine, but it still kind of creates a lot of a similar result. Make sense? Mm-hmm. So, but you have a lot of fire. Looking at you, you have this shiny life. You're like, hey, look where I am now. And hey, look, it's freaking awesome. That's fire. It doesn't have to be loud. I'm an introvert too. Totally. But the Leo brings out a little bit of extroversion for sure. It used to be a lot more, but it's lessening these days. So the fire is like, it's warmth, it's life force. So think about the element of it. So you have all 3 fire signs. I have all 3 earth. So you have warmth. It's warmth. It's aliveness. It's dynamic. It's not static. Like if you think of Taurus, for example, it's more just like boom. It's like, it's more solid. Where you have more dynamic energies combined with your 5. So I'm curious, for your 5 and your Sagittarius and all this fire, do you feel like you've been allowing it as fully as you could?
No, not at all. I actually don't like I said, I don't like to be in a spotlight. For years, I was not sharing my lifestyle. I was not sharing that I live in France half a year and blah, blah, blah. I didn't want people not to relate to me.
Yeah.
Because I've heard like, oh, you're lucky. And so I started kind of hiding sort of. And very recently I said, if I want to do my work, I have to actually inspire by what I've created in my life. So I started being more and more open. But for years I was very, very closed.
For sure.
Like very private, yeah.
You know what, Millen? I have a ton of compassion. This makes so much sense. It makes so much sense because with all of this kind of shiny energy, it's not luck. Like, it's not luck and you know it. It's not like, oh, you did not win the lottery. That's not.
I did not. And actually, my path to where I am right now was very challenging. But I think it's choices. It's one small choice after another when I was like zigging and zagging, and finally I was figuring it out. So, yeah, it's not luck.
It's not luck. Totally. But it makes sense that you would be like, oh, I have a shiny life. And you can't help but to do that. And then to kind of put a lid on it because you're afraid. Because shiny is like, well, other people who aren't shiny and have shame that they're not shiny put out other people's light. Yeah. They don't want it. They don't want to feel their own shame or insecurity or fear that they're not enough. So you might have had that a lot earlier on. The reality is, who are you here to work with? Ambitious women. Do you have to hide your light around them?
Not anymore.
No. And you also don't, it's not, you just are just being you. You're not like, hey guys, I like blah, blah, blah. Like for me, like I talk about living in the mountains and being inspired by the mountains, and like I live backing onto a that partly, like that's awesome. That's an awesome thing, but it's more so just like, this is me, right? Like I'm this nature woman, you know?
Yeah. And me too, by the way. I'm very much nature woman.
Totally. I make total sense. I love it. So
what about Aries? Because we got
So I wanted to start with the fire and then we could talk. So Leo is like this giant kind of bonfire. It's like keeps everybody warm and you know, people feel good around it. I love Myrna. Like when I'm around my Aunt Myrna, she's just like, I just smile because she's just so full of life.
Yeah, I noticed that people really like to be around me, and in my family, it's almost like sometimes a competition who can spend more time with me because I don't have much time for everybody. So it's
exactly.
I never thought about this. It makes sense now. It does make sense now.
Total sense. Plus, also we're talking a lot, and you're also talking a lot. It's not just like here I'm talking because you're like, well, like I have something to say too, like, and I have thoughts and like. You know, so even though you're introverted, you're not quiet, and
I'm not quiet.
Fire is like, it loves communication, it loves ideas, it loves like possibilities that can really become something. So yeah, okay, so that's Leo is that kind of warm bonfire. People do want to be around you. Moon in Leo is like a big heart. It's a big heart. Like you're generous, very generous. So if you really live into this, I saw your retreat. It looked freaking awesome. It was like so, like that's Leo right there. Leo Capricorn, friggin' awesome. And I love you posting pictures about it because you're showing people. If you look at Kate Harlow, she's designed her retreats around her brand essence, and she's got Leo and Taurus. So Taurus is like good food, good wine and all that mixed with Leo. So it's like premium luxury, right? It's 100% based on a brand essence. So you're the same. So Leo, okay, Sagittarius is more like, ooh, go with the flow. And like, it's in motion. Aries is like, I love Aries for you. It's your midheaven. So if you were to be in media, I think media would be really, really good for you. Really good for you. Because you have all these threes, which likes to talk and express. You have something to say, basically. It doesn't mean you talk a lot. I'm the same. I'm totally the same. I talk way more with my clients than I do. I was at this JV event a few weeks ago, and I was quiet most of the time. But if I had something to say, I would say something. But you don't know me as quiet, right? So there's different sides. Like if you're the expert and you're with your people, you're probably not going to stop talking. So you don't have to worry about this extrovert introvert thing. It's totally all good.
So when you say media, is it okay that I interrupt because I don't want to forget?
I got to point out it's your fire. It's your fire that's interrupting. You can't help it. You have fire, lady.
Right. So when you say media, you're talking about like radio, TV interviews, something like that, or start my own TV show, something like that. I love interviewing people. Exactly. I started interviewing series. I interview advisors and insiders, and I enjoy it. And I saw myself. It's so easy and so fun for me. And yeah,
totally. Okay. Because here's the thing: midheaven is your public self. When you're out in public, you're an Aries. You're fire. You're dynamic. Aries. Aries is the trailblazer. So what you're trailblazing is women's empowerment around money and wealth for high achieving women. And you can have freebies that work for everybody, but the bottom line is you're here to help people who want more for themselves, who aren't like, this is a big value for me. Like it's a huge value for me. Like I grew up with like no money, and does not suit who I am. And so I'm navigating getting out of that world. Like I've been navigating for a number of years, getting out of that world and entering this new world that is like completely unknown. So these people want this, like they want it. So media is super awesome for you. Podcasts, like who knows? It could be, who knows? That's for reach. We talk more about profit pathways that are totally aligned and your model that's aligned in Scale Naturally, which I think we talked about a little bit, but that's where we talk more about the big picture and everything being congruent. But just right off the bat, yeah,
it's on my do-it list, by the way. The Scale Naturally is on my do-it list. Totally. I just want to tell you, I just signed up for Jeff Walker because I'm launching my program and I have no idea how to launch program. Yeah. So I just sign up for his program, and I'm curious how it will go. But Scale Naturally, it seems like the next natural step for me. I just wanted to mention something. You said this word free-spirited, and it just resonated with me because for me, it's like, I realized that I cannot work for managers who tell me what to do, and especially when I disagree. When I agree, it was okay. But like for me to have this freedom to choose and have more choices in life, that's what motivated me to create wealth. It's not just like having money in the bank. Yeah. It's having the more choices in my life that I control.
Yeah, exactly. Your Mars is Sagittarius. Your Mars is your passion. It's your drive. So the drive is to have more choices. Speak to this. I want more choices, speak to this. Your people are going to resonate with that. They want more choices, and they want to handle, here's the Aries. You want to handle money differently than maybe your parents have, or than the most of the world has. Like, that most of the world handles money in a stupid way. It doesn't create wealth, and you want to be different. You want to create a new financial reality for yourself. That's Aries. That's freaking awesome. Oh, Millen, this is so fun. Cool. I want to check in here for the comments here. Liz lost the replay here. I'll type your name here if you're still here. Oops, Elizabeth. Okay, so Liz said people who need and want a strategic way to move forward with impact. Yeah, Liz has got Sagittarius as well, so awesome. Cool. Yeah, this is awesome, Millen. This is freaking awesome. And I encourage you, probably the most powerful thing you can do is to cut away all consideration of people who are not your ideal client. And even if you're on media, speak to those who are ambitious. Speak to those who want a new financial reality, who want to handle their money differently, who want to be empowered around their money, who want choices. So you can speak to that, and media is so good for you for reach. I love it. Yay! So cool. And this is the idea. See, when you see this and you really own this about yourself, you can just be that. And it's, even though you have all this fire, you're not like super loud. You don't have to be. Fire's not always loud. It's warm and it attracts attention. It doesn't have to be loud to attract attention. It's like, hey, what has she got going on? Your pictures are loud. Your pictures are fiery. It's like,
Yeah.
hey, look where I am in south of France at the moment. And it's like, oh yeah, like that's this like inviting light, right? So it's not always like, I have something to say. Although, yeah, I think you might have shut down some of that. So I encourage you to embrace it because it's who you are. You are someone who is expressive. You are someone who is fiery. And there's a whole new world the more you embrace that. Doesn't mean you become an extrovert. That's not what I'm talking about. But there's a lot more to all of these worlds. Cool. Well, I'm excited for you to get launching and to move into all of that. And yeah, I'm excited. Awesome, Millen. What's your biggest takeaway from here today?
I have a few.
Yeah, what's your few?
Really embrace my warm, fiery side, which I think I kind of tried to dim for a long time.
Yeah.
And that's this. And then I don't need to be at the very top in terms of perfection. Yeah. It's okay if because I just by the way I am, I cannot be really at the bottom as well.
Yeah.
So that was interesting. And probably the most impactful in terms of communication is that it's okay to only speak to my people.
Yeah.
Because sometimes I avoided words ambitious, high achiever. I was avoiding this because I felt that it may disturb a lot of women because they would feel that they are not that. Mm-hmm. And I feel now that if that's my natural design, then it's okay. If someone doesn't like it, they have a right to have their own experience. Yeah. And it's not my responsibility to change it.
Yeah. Well, and here's the other thing is you're saying ambitious women. And you're thinking that that's going to cause something bad in someone. But to me, I know lots of people who are not ambitious. Like my best friend for a lot of years, like in high school and stuff, university, she's not ambitious. She could work at any job as long as it made some money. I don't understand that, but she is that person. If she read something for ambitious women, she wouldn't even look at it. She wouldn't feel insulted by it because it's like saying, are you ambitious? No. She would say no, you know? So it's not, you're not shaming anyone. You're not shaming anyone. You're not hurting anyone. And so there's probably some inner game around shining and outshining people.
Yes.
So you got to do the work there. And of course you would have that. Even your 3 is a childhood challenge, which is like, don't be too happy. Don't share, don't express too freely.
Yes.
That's a big deal. So that's your inner work. You're on a whole inner game journey with this, which is why the fire hasn't been let out as fully. It's kind of like, hey, I've got this epic bonfire, but it's in a building and you can't see it. You know, like instead of like want some marshmallows because we've got this epic fire here. You know, invite us to the fire, okay? Invite your people to the fire.
It's a very great metaphor because it's quite accurate.
Yes, exactly. You're like, people don't like seeing the big bonfire. I'm like, man, they do, and some people won't. And that's okay, but you've got a high focus around people who might not like you, and that's your inner game journey. Keep doing, healing lots of blocks around that, and then there might be more childhood pieces you need to uncover and heal and work through, because this is your work. Like you've got so much expression. You've got all this, like the 5 is your destiny number, your life path. It's like the most important gift you have, and it is a lot. You live 5. You live with beauty. You have aliveness. There's like radiance. There's life force energy. Like that's you, Millen. Totally you. So to really show that that's possible, like that's really what you're doing. You're saying, hey, you can have more options. You can have more choices. that so you feel more alive. And so you're like a Sagittarius. You can do what you want when you want to do it. That's a Sagittarius. No apologizing for that. Your people want that.
Yeah.
So rather than thinking that you're suddenly going to put this fire into a bunch of like minimum wage employees, that's not where you're going to put your fire. You're going to put your fire right where your people can find it, and then let them be drawn into that glow and that warmth. I love it, Millen. Yeah.
I'm taking it in.
Yeah, I love it. I'm so glad that you're here and that we're on this journey together, and it's really exciting to witness.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much.
Welcome. You're so welcome. Well, huge hug all the way to France.
Yes.
And yeah, post any other realizations you have as you go forward in the community. Let me just check back quickly. I don't even know if anyone's still on here. We went longer. Okay, cool. Let me see. Yeah, we got a couple. So I'd love to hear, as we're wrapping here, whoever's still here, if there's any takeaway you have from today. What's your personal takeaway that you have from just observing this? And if it cuts off by the time we, yeah, if I don't see your comment, then I'll type below. But yeah, I just love this, and to kind of circle back to the power of who we are and the power of cutting away all that we're not. I can't even and even this whole idea of like, it's business or it's corporate. No, it's not. We found the commonality, and for you to embrace that, you don't have to be split. And I love that you're like, no, I like both. You have to trust that. And this is why I love natural design. It's like, in standard business programs, they don't consider these things that are freaking crucial. You could cut off half of your energy right there without even doing it. And if someone says, oh, high achieving women or like ambitious women isn't a good title, I would say, forget it, just use it anyway. Because you're going to be so alive and excited to share that. And there's so many women's empowerment. There's a women's empowerment movement happening. There's so many places to speak and things like that. So like, now is your time, Millen. Like, it is so your time. Women need to handle money differently, and you're here to help them do that. Cool. Okay, so we'll let any comments come in after. Awesome. You're awesome. That was so fun. And
okay, thank you so much, and everybody who joined us. I really appreciate your support and your curiosity and your energy, because it boosted our energy, right, Helen?
Totally, exactly. I love it. I was surprised so many people were up early. or late. Izumi was up late. She's probably sleeping now. Yeah, I love it. Okay, awesome. Thank you so much, Millen. This is so fun, and we'll see you in the community.
Thank you.
Okay,
Bye.
Bye.
Bye, everybody.
Bye, everyone.